Bad Movie Crew. Bad Movie Crew.
And we are back with another edition of the Bad Movie Crew. I am your host, Neil, joined as always by my brother from another mother, and your host, Marc.
Yes, people, it's been a while, but we back.
We back.
What y'all been up to?
Yeah, man, what y'all been watching?
Yeah, we've been watching some bad ones.
Oh,
whew, Jesus.
We can put the bad in Bad Movie Crew. But not in this edition, Marc. You're liking the content, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let us know what you've been watching. Let us know how you feel about the reviews we do. And let me engage each other in this community. Anyway, my brother, what are we reviewing today?
Before we get to that, sir, I must mention, happy anniversary, sir.
Oh, yeah, there's a year, man.
It's been a year we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Not as consistent as we was like,
We can try to do better in the second year.
Life is for the living and life gets in the way. So I know most of the people that watch it understand that. So, they're not children on the way. Let me just put that out. Let me put that out there. They're not children on the way.
Not on my end. I know for sure.
They're not children on the way. So just let me put that out there. When they talk about all life for the living is about time. They're not children on the way. Again, as Neil said, thanks for the follow, the engagement, telling me if we talk shit. I mean, that's what we're here for. Again,
that's what we do.
We is experts, so don't take us too seriously. Anyhow, my brother, today we are talking about Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, a great movie.
Great movie.
A groovy. Yeah. I mean, let's first let everybody know that spoiler alert. If you have not watched Top Gun Maverick and it is something that you do want to watch, you don't want it spoiled, spoiler alert. Pause, put me in favorites, gonna watch Top Gun Maverick and then come back and let me have this discussion. Yeah. Right? But anyhow, we are reviewing Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick was released on May 27, 2022. It's 130 minutes. Directed by Joseph Kosinski. Starring Tom Cruise, Miles Teller, Jennifer Connelly, John Hamm, Glenn Powell, Ed Harris, Val Kilmer, Louis Pullman. Cinematography. The reason I mention this cinematography, we can get to that, Claudio Miranda. Music by Harold Faltermeyer. Lady Gaga, Hans Zimmer, she's your boy, and Lorne Balfe. Production companies, Skydance Media, Derry Simpson, and John Bruckheimer Films. The budget is $170 million, and right now it stands at a box office return of $1.464 billion. So
safe to say, it made a profit.
Yeah, and
that's like profit.
That's like Pay a bill. So as everybody knows, Top Gun Maverick is based on the iconic Top Gun movie from the 80s, where Pete Maverick Mitchell, he is in Top Gun flight school, and he does a lot of zany, wacky things. Top Gun being the top program for the best of the best of the best of all pilots in the armed forces. Now, Top Gun Maverick sees the return some 30 years later of Pete Mitchell, Maverick Mitchell, right, played by Tom Cruise. He is a test pilot, and he has not really progressed in his career. He's still kind of chasing that high, still kind of living by the seat of his pants, and he hasn't really matured. And things happen. He's thrust back into the Top Gun program, where he has to train the upcoming new generation of pilots for a dangerous and important mission. This was in development hell for a long time, right? Like there've been scripts floated around here and there. Tom Cruise, he's a man that at the time, back in the day, he wasn't doing sequels, but then of course he started doing Mission Impossible sequels, etc. And he was open to the idea back in the early 2010s to doing a Top Gun movie. And then of course, finding the right script, and they did have a script being written and everything like that, but the original director, Tony Scott, he died in 2012. And, that kind of pushed it back, had to find the right director. And Tom Cruise wanted to make sure that it was an authentic experience and, making sure that they had the technology in terms of camera and certain permissions to film things authentically and not in a computer or in green screen or anything, blue screen or anything like that.
My man about the CG. No, my man, I ain't gonna bring this as authentic as possible.
Right. Of course, he also wanted, because it was ready apparently since 2020, but because of the pandemic and the restrictions in cinemas and stuff like that, they made the decision to delay until cinemas opened and people can go into cinemas and watch it. And I will say that that is a very good move because
Same
this
here.
is a movie that should be experienced in cinemas. We didn't see it in cinemas at the time, unfortunately, but it is one of those things where I
You
kind of,
should.
yeah,
You should. You should. Let
I
me
kind of regretted that I didn't watch it
Yeah.
in cinemas. But anyhow, Mark, enough preamble. How do you feel? What do you think about Top Gun Maverick?
Let me say it for me before I start this. And there's probably a little shameful on my part. But I've never fully watched the first Top Gun, you know.
Mm.
Like,
That's,
it's one of those movies that you've seen enough parts that you know what the hell goes on.
yeah, I
But
could agree.
you've never seen the entire movie. And I'm just like, I say that to say that even if you haven't watched the first one, or if you don't remember much, part two does a good enough job of referencing enough from the first movie so you are not totally in the dark. And there wasn't a lot of hand holding through this movie. And we talk about that here a lot. There wasn't a lot of hand holding, and it was a lot of show, do not tell, which made this movie
perfect,
extremely awesome. The casting was spot on. The teller guy, I swear he looked just like Goose from the first one.
Yeah.
The acting was on point, cinematography on point, the stunts on point. Like, I was watching this movie and I'm like, this is not CGI. Like,
yeah,
this is real shit.
brother,
and then
man.
obviously, since you said that the movie was put on pause for like 2 years, there are little snippets, like background stuff, behind the scenes stuff that was coming out, and knowing that all of them literally went to the school and went like school training and that sort of stuff, you can see when it comes to the action, they knew what they're doing in the cockpit.
Mhm.
Granted, yes, they were actual pilots flying these fighter jets and stuff, but they looked competent in the role. I will watch that movie like back to back.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like when the movie get up on like HBO that's got like 2 channels that's been showing the movies right behind one, I would watch that and then turn around and watch it again because the movie to me is just that awesome.
Yeah.
Like, the tension between Maverick and Rooster was played up very well. And going into the movie and watching the movie, I was hoping that they weren't going to use the fact that Goose died with Maverick as the tension, like Rooster blamed him. But I'm glad that they found another reason to have tension between the two of them, and they played the tension throughout the movie perfectly. I love when Maverick schooled everybody. Like,
that was
like the man was like, "Welcome to dogfighting," and the man torched him.
every last one.
Every last one. There was a part of it that shocked me, and I honestly didn't realize it with Val Kilmer. I did not know that he has a throat issue.
Oh, you mean in real life?
Yeah, I did not know he had a throat issue in real life. So watching the movie, I was like, okay, yeah, all right, cool. I thought that was part of the script, but to find out that his actual, he had throat cancer and stuff like that, I'm glad that they still found a way to bring him in and like just pay homage to who he was and stuff like that. Like, all right, let me get the pretense. That's the pretense. You see the fight scenes? Them is the best things I see since New York dodge bullets. I put that up next to New York dodge bullets. That is one of the. First off, there's no real enemy in this movie,
and that was beautiful.
Yeah, like,
no enemy. There was no face, that enemy, no twirling bad guy that got ignorant motives.
Plans, no grandiose plans of world domination. There's no enemy per se. They just have this target to take out that is in this seemingly impossible spot to reach, and most of the movie is them training to get to this point in a specific time. When Maverick does the test run, I'm like, what more you want from a movie? And then when they actually go to do the bombing run, like the movie was just beautiful. Like, there are 2 parts in this movie that made me like literally run boat. I mean, like,
only 2?
No, well, 2 that really, really made me get up and run boat. You see when they may fire the missiles after the jets knock off,
and it fly
all
over.
the missiles fly over them,
and Tom Cruise is like,
I was like,
they're not real missiles there, you know, but
yeah, obviously,
you know,
but like to visualize and conceptualize that scene, like, I was like, yo.
And that's the thing, you know, because it's not only that scene, you know, just like you said, the conceptualization of the scenes in this movie would leave you like, this is next level pre-planning, you know, and visualization before cameras roll, you know. This is top tier filmmaking, you know.
Like this is storyboard on top of storyboard. Like, you know, like in Big Bang Theory, they had like 3-dimension chess. This is 3-dimension storyboarding.
This
like,
is
like this movie, like it was like
yes.
to conceptualize what you're doing and then plan it out, and it comes and when it's time for rubber to meet the road and it comes and it shows up like that, I was like, that is awesome. Like them missiles flying over the jets was just fantastic, like just blow my cool. And when the men met the run, I was like, all right, cool, fine, no problem. And Rooster has his little hesitancy, and then the master, I got this, and the man hit the boost and just went and started to push. I like,
master, hold on, Rooster, we boy, not the fast, yo, hold on, yo.
I was like, yo. But you know the part that really made me kick fuss and I watch about things in my bedroom?
Thought he thinks, brother, thought he thinks.
It's when the man in the fifth generation fighter pilot break and then stick the plane to avoid the missile. I have watched that clip on YouTube about, I don't want to lie, and I don't want to be hyperbolic. I have watched that about 50 times since watching that movie. And I just telling myself, like, the clip is about 3 minutes long, and I just want them 10 to 15 seconds from the time Maverick is go up and holler, splitting the throttle, turning, tone.
Listen to me.
And when the man does that, and I'm just like, I literally said the same thing, Rooster, sir, in the film.
What the fuck was that? Brother mine, I want you to know, right? In the history of cinema, there are a few times where 10 to 15 to 20 seconds of film just so perfectly edited, scored, shot, acted, action, everything. You see when the man, right? As you say. So you got issue, right? My man, he F-14 playing jet fighter pilot from back in the 80s. Correct. Got 5th generation on the man tail. Correct. My man fly up in the air. My man pull up throttle, hit these flares, and then my man split the throttles, and the man send the plane. The man handbrake the plane essentially, right? And send it, right? And up behind the 5th generation, and when my man say, got you, fire. I thinking, no, all right, my man can bust some flares or whatever. My man said, nah, let me show you, down with right. My man send it soul up and flip past. I was like, brother man, for me, there is essentially one scene better than that in the entire history of cinema action. And that is when Neo was doing his thing in the Matrix. You understand? When Neo was fighting, choose a Neo scene. It could be Neo dodging the bullets. It could be the fight with Agent Smith at the end. The first clip is Matrix related. The second one is this here, B.
Third for me is Darth Vader in Rogue One. And that always see.
Exactly. Right? They're perfect. Bad man things, right? When you watch the behind the scenes and you actually figure out why they're doing certain things. At the beginning, right? When they were saying, yeah, we need some F-18s, we did the man said, but what about the 5th generation thing? Man said, this is what we did. But when you think about it, the fighter jets nowadays only have one seat. You put in Tom Cruise to fly enough $1 million plane, $100 million nearly plane, right? So you need to have 2 seats, and that's the F-18. So to me, I understand the reason it was good enough for the layman and me to say, all right, that makes sense, right? I ain't a strategist or whatever, but that makes sense to me. So when you see that, and you saw that scene at the end, when they had Tom Cruise in the front, Miles Teller in the back, right? Maverick and Rooster. That, to me, knowing the constraints in shooting, because apparently they didn't have the traditional cameraman for those scenes. Yeah, they had to record that.
Actually had to maneuver their own camera. I know,
right? They had to not maneuver. They had to record because the cameras were set up, but they had to press record on the individual cameras to shoot. Right. So when you consider that entire scene, how it was shot and edited, right, and consider too that for every hour in one of them jets, they give the military about $12,000 around 11,000 something, right? But let me call it 12,000 US dollars, right? $12,000 US dollars for an hour of shooting, and they had over 800 hours of it.
Oh, bleh. US make a bite.
But that's money well spent, you know. Don't get tired. Brother man, not only that they met, but no, forget the money aspect of it in terms of the met, but right?
Yeah.
This gives you such an authentic experience when flying a plane. For those of you that have never done it, for those of you that have never sat in that position, right? This gives you such a perfect example of what it is. They got a couple of scenes in that movie that when I watch, they give me like literal goosebumps, and I had to watch it over. You see when they were going to the bombing run, and the four jets like now about to enter, and then come around the corner, you see the four jets supersonic, right? And you see that the man got the cone, I don't know what I can put it on screen, but the man got the cone there, so the man going in unison. That's not CGI. That's not computer graphics. That's not modeling. That's not VFX. That is four pilots flying or planes in that situation.
But
Brother
200
man,
feet off the ground.
Brother man.
And just look.
There's the scene in the desert when Tom Cruise was doing it, when the man was literally 100 feet off the ground.
Yep.
Right? They got the scene which was paying a homage to the original when Rooster and Hangman were talking. And my man said, I was here all the time, and he comes up behind him and goes inverted, right? Yep. Brother man, there are so many scenes in that, right? That
And I know you had to be geeking out because you got a little pilot experience. That was one of your things that you was really into. So I was like, pilot
and film? Yeah, you understand? This
I know you was really into that pilot life. And
this was porn for me, you know.
And I tell myself, Neil got to be geeking out.
Brother man.
And so Neil, I see you had to be geeking out watching that, big man.
I'm not gonna lie to you, right? Like, this is not me being hyperbolic or anything like that, right? This is not hyperbole. This is, for me, one of the top 3 greatest movies I've ever watched. And it ain't number 3. Listen, as Marc said, I trained to be a pilot at some point, and I train in film. So watching this movie, right? I watch this movie back to back. I watch it and then watch it again. This movie is, and the thing about it is, right? I know Marc want to credit the acting, and by and large, you have to credit the acting because Tom Cruise did a boot camp for them, right? He's a pilot in real life. He is very certified in a lot of things. He has had training in these planes already. So he created a program for the actors to kind of get them acclimated to the G-force and the movements of the jets and stuff like that. Shoot, he even got them from starting in single prop planes with the Cessnas and everything like that, and worked their way up to the jets, right? So I have to commend the acting for it because it is one thing to be a great actor. Marc and I could sit down here and be great top tier actors. But then if you sit down in them planes and you have to give the authentic reactions, like the same scene when Rooster asked what the hell was that when the 5th generation plane handbrake, as Marc said, right? There is no plane behind him, you know. Yes, there is some CGI in it. Let's be real, right? There is some CGI in the placement, in the cockpits and stuff like that, the planes behind him or whatever, right? So for Rooster to look back and react like that, obviously you could do the ADR, which is the dubbing. You could voice over that in post-production. You could like he may not have said that in the moment, like what the hell was that? He could have said that after the fact. But the point is that his reaction to it, right? And him in the back seat of the plane, when like a man firing and he, you know, they had a point where the man, when he did that maneuver in the trench and they went up and they had the zero gravity for a little split second, right? Like, there is acting, right?
And then there's this.
There's acting, there's piloting, and then there's the mishmash and combination of the two. This movie was, I watched this movie again and again, right? And I said, what is something I did not like in the movie? And if I'm going to be honest, and this is nitpicky, you could give your reaction to that. But for me, the issues I had with this movie is the love situation with Tom Cruise and Jennifer Connelly. Not necessarily that there was a love interest. That's not the part that I had a problem with necessarily. But like the daughter and this kind of manufactured sexual tension between them and stuff like that. Like, to me, And this is me. This is my opinion. This is me nitpicking now. I want to be very, very clear. This is not me saying that this movie is nonsense because of this. This is me trying to
find a scene.
And to me, whenever it revolved around this will they, won't they kind of dynamic, right? But in the end, it pays off because he has matured.
Right.
Maverick has matured to say, no, well, I need to start living in the air. And as Iceman has said, Val Kilmer's character, you gotta let it go. Right. Yeah. So at the end, they let it go.
But right. I don't have a problem with it because, again, this goes back to the original one. So obviously, Jennifer Connelly is playing the role of his love interest.
Right.
And unfortunately, the story surrounding the original actress is a very sad one.
Tragic one,
and yeah. I don't think I'm not really thinking. If you want to look it up, you can look it up. And it's really sad and it sucks. Because I would have loved that she would have been in the movie. So I don't have a problem with the mushy stuff because the movie is literally about coming full circle.
Right.
It's about coming full circle. It's about realizing there's a time where you have to, like you said, mature, hang it up, and, move on and stuff like that. And that's fine. So my only problem, if we're talking about that, is that it was in there and it took away from the action. But again, I understand.
You gotta break it up.
130 minutes. You need some downtime. You can't be high octane all the time. And I will say, for 130 minutes,
I was engrossed
for 130 minutes.
I
did not hear. That is 4 hours of movie if I watch that back to back. And I will do it.
Do it normal. Like this movie is perfect on so many levels, right? Because you don't have to be a pilot. You don't have to be into planes. You don't have to be into the Army, the Air Force. You don't even have to have liked the first Top Gun. You understand what I'm saying? This does such a thing that movies don't do anymore, right? Because, and I can even care a step further, this movie paid homage to the first one without being ham-fisted or on the nose or, you know what I mean? Like, it did a great job of the homage by not seeming forced and, oh, look at Top Gun, you remember Top Gun? You remember 1986? Look at the 80s, right? Because the music, check it right. That music that was in the original Top Gun is timeless.
Correct.
In that movie, when they were playing Danger Zone and that, it wasn't that they were playing 80s music, They was playing high octane, Top Gun,
correct,
playing flying music.
Things that can get you blood pumping.
Exactly.
And I want to piggyback real quick on what you just said. I'm glad that they did not disrespect the original. I'm glad because we see this too often.
Oh my goodness.
In modern cinema where you got to piss on the original the movie, so the original IP, and you got to
subvert expectations.
And then you got to this thing about making all men foolish and ignorant in movies to prop up a different gender it pisses me off because you're not writing good movies. But this, I'm glad they took their time to find the right script, to get the right actors, to do all the training. Like you are struggling to find a negative of this movie.
There's no negative. This is perfect editing. This is perfect music.
If it was, I'm pretty sure if we were to have a conversation with real life pilots, they would say, well,
but here's the thing. I have watched videos with actual fighter pilots talking about Top Gun Maverick. And they said, by and large, they are cool with it.
I honestly cannot find a nitpick. And like I said, the drama did not feel manufactured. It didn't feel forced. You could see that Russo had good reason. And it is a good reason. Because Maverick kind of hindered his career.
There was a scene, now that I think about it, where Hangman and Rooster got into it. Right? When Hangman found out that Rooster is Goose's son.
Yeah.
Right. And there was an after training session where they were failing a lot and stuff like that, where he kind of poked fun. Right. To me, I was like, all right, you're massaging the envelope here. Right. But again, I want to be very clear. That is a nitpick.
But again,
that is a nitpick. That is like saying I can be the Bulgarian. I get this 9.9 instead of 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But Hangman, and you could correct me if I'm wrong here, but from what I remember from the little bit I've seen of the original Top Gun, Hangman was Maverick. Hangman was this version of Maverick.
No, Hangman is supposed to be Iceman. So basically, when they told the actor that plays Hangman, right? Essentially, how he's supposed to play or whatever, the man said, yeah, you're supposed to essentially be Iceman's son. Not that you are Iceman's son,
Right,
but
but you're like, okay.
you gotta play it like Iceman. Like you gotta play it like you ultra cocky, use the best, nobody in bed and you and everything. That when I heard that, I was like, yeah. Right? It made sense because Iceman was a total
I know
idiot.
that Maverick was supposed to be the arrogant, brash pilot. So to me, I figured that that's what it was. Again, like I said, I not fully watched the first one. Maybe I should go and watch the first one or whatever.
The editing is amazing because it's one thing to have 800 hours of footage, but to get the proper reactions in the planes and of the pilots, right? The editing was perfect. The score was perfect because it just gives you an adrenaline rush. And the 80s, when you talk about adrenaline, you got them
fighting movies, action movies,
right? When you can't go wrong. Anything for the metal or the pop or anything with a guitar, you can't go wrong with that.
It's just one fight. Just
brother
one
man, that movie was incredible. I literally ran out of words to say to describe it. I just think that it is a movie for any and everyone that wants to watch it.
Correct.
And what I loved about it, right, Mark? They had diversity in it that was not forced. Look at the team at the end, right? The team at the end had a Hispanic, African American, and a woman. And it didn't feel like, oh, we're choosing this woman or we're choosing this black. Like it just feel like, look, this is the best. Let me choose these men. Let me go along.
Correct.
And in the moment, I wasn't watching and saying, oh my God, that's a black man. Oh my God, that's a woman. I was like, yo, these men here, these people.
Yeah.
Got to get this mission because I am no longer worried about skin color. I'm no longer worried about gender. I'm worried about how these men can pull off this mission because they had problems in the training.
Correct.
The thing is, this is how you manufacture tension.
Correct.
You set the stakes. Again, that's why I tell you, all right, I might not be the best filmmaker in the world. That's fine.
TikTok will got you let down.
Right? TikTok will let me down. But the point in the matter is I understand film. In that, for me, and for what I believe the audience wants is the show, don't tell. So when you can set, and when you world build your world and you set your rules and your motivations, you do things in line with that.
Yeah. You set up and you pay off.
You pay off.
Every setup
always pay,
yes. Pay off. Every setup had its pay off.
Right?
The tension between him and Rooster paid off at the end. The tension between him and John Hans.
Yeah, John Hans' character. Yeah. Paid off at the end.
Paid off. The little thing between humbling Hangman's character a little bit, that paid off. Because you know he had to get a little humbling. Because
even he had his moment.
Yeah.
Even he had his moment.
When he came to and saved them, was
at the end.
And
his little speech was like,
his name. He's like,
he was even in that moment of redemption when he saved them and everybody, because you know he saved them and it's like, yo, Hangman is the savior. He man was even a douche about it. The man was like, this is your savior speaking. Yeah, like, yo, y'all don't understand, right? How perfect of a movie this is. Again, we could nitpick not only that, but you could nitpick that the mission went a lot better than it was really going for people that were struggling at the end. But I because that whole Rooster doing it dead when they had the dead eye and he did it manually, right? Yeah. I was like,
you know, I watched someone that compared that to
Star Wars.
The tunnel run in Star Wars. Like somebody compared it to the tunnel run. That was like.
That was the same, brother man. That's the same thing that was going through my head. Sorry if I seem like I going all over the place, right? But nobody died. Nobody died from the good guys. I
actually thought they were going to kill Tom Cruise.
Me too.
I thought like this is the only way that this movie is going to end. Like
that he got dead. I mean, he got shot down, right? And he hit. I was like, all right, he dead. That's unfortunate, whatever. But then when he saw, and I'm gonna be very honest. When I saw the cut to him and he waking up, having survived the crash. I was like, cheese on bread, man. This can be an unnecessary third act, and this.
Nope. That third act was freaking awesome.
When my man, trust me and believe, when my man shoot the first plane in the F-14, and then when the master Rooster, tell me when you see smoke here, tell me when you see a rocket, the master rocket, any man's no problem, and the man sent it to hit the plane that he just shoot down.
Yes, me.
I was like,
yes, me.
My money here, torch. You're right. Torch. I was like, shoot. Torch. I was like. I felt great that he come back, that Rooster come back and save Maverick.
Yes.
That's what.
Yeah. When the man break that place.
When the master split the throttles, bros. I watched that movie. You know that movie took me about 3.5 hours to watch.
Yeah, of course.
Because when he went to split the throttles, right? I watched that half hour. I said, this is, in terms of practical filmmaking, in terms of storytelling, and in terms of doing what you got to do to meet certain agendas where like you got to satisfy diversity and you got to pay homage to, because this is a delicate balance that many IPs can't get done.
Correct.
We seeing the mess that is Marvel right now. We seeing the mess that is Star Wars right now. People, they're finding
the mess that is everything right now.
Exactly. They're finding difficulties in 1, rebooting, 2, giving sequels, 3, paying homage, 4, getting the diversity just right and not have this underlying ham-fisted, like forced narrative, right? Honestly speaking, right, I was hearing rumors of there being a sequel. I actually hope that there's not a sequel with Tom Cruise. I hope this is the last we see of Tom Cruise as the main protagonist in this movie. If they have like a rooster or they have a spin-off or whatever, that's fine.
Like I can see Tom Cruise going into like the Val Kilmer role or like the I forget what John Hamm's character's name and
I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but I can see him being the leader of the school and more having somebody train them, or you follow that specific group of pilots that went on the run minus Maverick. I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
Once Tom Cruise dealing with the production part of it,
brother man, you got my money. Smaller people gonna watch Top Gun Maverick here.
I'm saying
it don't make sense we talking about a rating here because it can get 12 for me out of 5 and it can probably get like 16 or
like 50, 60 from
me.
You
know what I'm saying? Right. So like watch Top Gun Maverick, yo.
You're gonna watch it again today.
Brother man, I gonna watch. What do you mean? This is a very good movie. This is excellent.
I want to say this is easily the best movie we have reviewed in our year.
Yeah, for sure. But then
this is easily the best movie.
This is a movie, right? That if you try to Netflix and chilling it, it might not do a lot of chilling. It might not be a lot of chill.
You hold on, honey. You hold on.
Yeah.
You hold on.
But I can tell you, after watching this movie, there's a lot of chilling though, because this will get you ready for some action.
Yeah, boy. This has got the adrenaline and testosterone level.
Yeah, B.
Through the roof.
Through the roof. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for being with us for a year. As my man Neil said, we can try to be a little more consistent. We got to carve out the time because we do like the reviews, we do like the feedback. And, we get to sit down and talk shit about movies, which is something we do for free anyway. So hey, this is why we're here. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. Like how Maverick did not miss any of the shots he took. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.